Welcome back to Farm and Hammer, everyone. I hope everyone is having a great day. I just wanted to let you guys know this video is going to be a little bit different for the first half because right now this video I was filming at 5:15 in the morning. We got up super early and I went to bed at after midnight that night from work, so running on very low sleep, and honestly camera was the last thing on my mind because we were trying to get these calves worked before it got hot outside. So I apologize, it's mostly going to be a voiceover, but anyway, got all the calves into the corral, split them up into two groups, and put the first group in. Trying to get them in the tub here. Calves have never been worked before, so this is all new to them, and if you guys have seen any of my other cattle handling videos, I try to be as nice as possible in working calves. You don't want to get them any more stressed out than they have to be, and so I don't use cattle sticks, don't use any of that, just push them with my hands. Like I said, try to keep them as calm as possible. And I had my dad help me with this because once again, two people, it's a lot easier. I've tried to do it by myself before and it takes probably 3 times as long. So my job was getting him into the head chute. He's pretty good at giving vaccines and all that stuff. So he mostly controls the front and I get him up in the back, and my other job is to band him. So the 2 vaccines we're giving were one for blackleg and the other one is for pneumonia, kind of getting a double dose there. And then we always give pneumonia at least twice to these calves because bottle calves, they tend to have a pretty big problem with pneumonia later on in the summer. So this one, he's been sick his entire life. And here I'm just checking the eyes. I check all their eyes because we've had a pretty bad pink eye outbreak in the bottle calves. So I'm just treating the ones that have pink eye, and any that have some drainage coming out of their eyes, they all got treated. And they don't like it, but best thing for them. So. And the other thing I won't be showing is dehorning. We also dehorn, as you can see, he no longer has horns. Mostly because even though they're not really feeling much, the way we dehorn, it's not a very pretty process, and YouTube probably would not like seeing it. So I didn't show any dehorning. Most of the Fleck V calves are the ones that had horns. All of the black ones are polled because they're out of polled bulls, but all the Fleck V cross calves did have horns, and we did dehorn all of them. So, like I said, try to make it as painless as possible, but horns later on when they're older, that can mean poking out other calves' eyes and all that stuff. So that's why we take care of horns while they're young. And here we're getting in the last group. This is the other half, and most of this group, a lot of the ones in the back, they're struggling with pink eye, which is another reason why they're in the back. While they're in the alley, I was giving them all dewormer, the ones I haven't wormed yet, which is about half of them. And that just makes it a lot quicker, so while my dad's giving vaccines, I can get them all dewormed before we get them all worked. And lastly, I banded all the bulls like I mentioned, and as you can see, we're not using the little green Cheerios, we're using the bigger ones because honestly I kind of waited too long on these calves. But yeah, banding, once again, not a painless process, but we try to make it as painless as possible. And so the younger you can get it done, the better, the less they feel it, but definitely don't want to wait until they're 6 or 7 months old. It seems to be a little too late, and they definitely don't grow as well after that. So that's why we try to do it while they're young. Well guys, it is now 7 o'clock in the morning. We started at 5:15, got the calves in, worked them all, gave them 2 rounds of vaccines. We banded the bulls, dehorned the ones that had horns, which were basically all the Fleck V crosses, and Anyway, calves are done. They've been treated for worms and flies. So because the calves have all been worked and they're ready to go, it is now time to get them started on the pasture moves. They've pretty much been in the same pasture since I started with them, and now it's time. The cows are out of the way. We're gonna start some rotation again like I did last year and rotate them between, I don't know, 6 fields with about 40 acres total. That'll be what they're on until they're big enough to be sold. So, but before I kick them out to the new pasture, I do want to get them some grain because they haven't been fed this morning, and hopefully the grain will calm them down a bit. Well guys, it looks like most of the calves are finished eating. They've cleaned up most of the feed, I guess. And we're going to be kicking them out to this field here. This field has a lot of Bermuda grass coming in. And of course all the clover. It's just ladino clover, but it's starting to burn up because we haven't had rain in a couple weeks now. And it's been pretty hot. So we're mostly going to be grazing on some Bermuda grass, at least for the next day or two, and then I'm going to move them into a different field, which has a lot of young fescue and red and white clover. So this is the field they're going in right now, as long as I can convince them to follow me out here. Now I'm sure they're going to head straight for that pond, but anyway, this is the field they're going in. They're going to spend most of their time in this shaded area grazing, and then here in a couple days we'll move them again. These guys are still cleaning up feed, but you can see all the bulls here are banded, and this will be dropping off here in a week or two. And we've got one dummy stuck in the feeder. Come on, buddy, crawl out of there. You're tiny enough. Come on, hey. I can get him to get his shoulders under. Come on now, hey, hey. Oh, they're all out here now, and yep, they're making their way towards the pond. They've had a long morning, stressful morning, and don't want them getting dehydrated, so good to see they found the water. And so far so good. No one's acting like they're hurting too bad, so